טוב, בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח, השם אבינו מרחמיו ונרוויח. שיעור תורה, הלכות שבת, part 2 בעזרת השם. שיהיה לרפואה שלמה, שיהיה להם זכות גדול, רפאל בן ברוכה, אליהו יגאל בן ראי, רחל, פליקס בן אוסטן, פלינה בת דבורה, יובה בת דבורה, ספורה בת דבורה, מירה מרים בת ברוכה, רחל בת נקדם, לאה, זויה בת ברוכה, אנה אסתר בת אנה. Anyone else? לכל החולים, לכל החמודות. בעזרת השם, אין לנו רפואה להן, אין לנו רפואה להן. שיהיה להם רפואה שלמה, וכן יהי רצון ונאמר אמן.
איך הוא?
אביגל בת שרה. קצייה בתיה בת הודיה. קצייה בתיה בת הודיה. בתיה is the right pronunciation, הרב אדרת said. Anyway. So we said last time, Rabotai, that very important that a person is going to do something himself on the Shabbat Kodesh, and according to the Rambam and the Gemara, if a person does not have, and probably according to every posek, to the majority of the poskim, if a person does not have a helper, or an agent, or a messenger, then therefore it is better that a person does it himself, because he doesn't have anyone. If he doesn't do it himself, then there's no Shabbat, right? Whatever you do, that's whatever you're going to eat. That's a few different meanings, but right now we're talking about Shabbat, and this also means about Olam Haba. So you cook in this world, which is Olam Hazeh, and you eat in the Olam Haba. So therefore, but aside from that, that if a person does not have, he has to do it himself. That also means that the more a person does, whether it's Chag HaSukkot or for the Sukkah or for any kind of mitzvah, especially the Shabbat Kodesh, so the more the better, the more the merrier. And also it says if a person, right, we said last time that it's very hard to sweat from the nose. You have to really work very tediously, very hard. And also it's very hard that the brain is going to sweat when you're learning. Maybe some of us have experienced that, but one of the last people that I personally heard who has experienced that was Rabbeinu HaArizal in the Tzemach Tzedek. Maybe Arav Uri Yosef, maybe Rab Chaim Kanievsky, I don't know, I didn't hear, but definitely it's very hard physically to make your nose get a sweat. It's talking about over here that when a person is going to do the preparations for Shabbat, whether little or a lot, the more that he's going to sweat, the more Hashem is erasing his sins. Just like when a person is crying, he takes his sins and he has to, like as if he's wiping his forehead, he has to spread it on his forehead. He doesn't have to, but that's actually the segula, that when a person sweats or when a person cries, that's when his metzach is being erased. The sins on the forehead is being erased. So it's a very important thing. And when also you feel so good, you feel that the power of the Shabbat, the hour of the Shabbat, the strength of the Shabbat, you've worked the whole week, every day, little by little, you're combining and gathering all the things in order to bring it for the Shabbat Kodesh. Not just to eat, we're talking about, that's also an oneg in and of itself, but the more spiritual oneg we're talking about, that right now you're in Shabbat, you have special worlds that you can attain. By the way, it says Shai Olamot, 310 worlds. Why does it say 310 worlds? Why not 365 worlds, for example? Or 365 I think it is. So because they say 54 Shabbatot, 52 or 54, you already get Olam Haba from the Shai Olamot, from the Shasa Olamot. So therefore you only have 310 left. But the Olam Haba is really when you're sitting on the Shabbat Kodesh. And also, many times people fight, whether due to money matters or due to different kind of problems or Shalom Bayit issues, but on Shabbat it's like the ocean, You put the shell to your ear, and that's how the ocean is, and you have an enjoyment, and that's how Shabbat is, Shabbat Kodesh. It makes you feel and takes you to a different part of the world, and shows you the real world, which is called the Shasa Olamot. That's why we are left with the remainder of the Shai Olamot. So that's what we left off last time. Ishtadel להשיג הדס משולש לברך עליו בשבת חודש. This is a little bit more of a Kabbalistical minhag, but whoever wants to do it, it's very good. Ma tov ma na'im. So Harav Mutzafi says, Ishtadel להשיג הדס משולש לברך עליו בשבת חודש. A person should be able to attain, should try to obtain a hadas, just like you have for the Sukkah, for the holiday of Sukkot, you should try to get for every Shabbat Kodesh. In my humble opinion, since the Bukharians back over there, maybe other Edot as well, since they did not have that available, right? Because during Sukkot time they had one lulav and one etrog for the whole community. Baruch Hashem, we have the zchut to have each and every one of us few sets for each family. Everyone has their own, and they bring it to the Beit Knesset and they shake it, and etc. But if a person does not have that on Shabbat, he could use the nosboi, right? The basil or the rayhon or the mint, but it's not going to be mishulash. It's not going to be three from one point like the hadas. That's why the hadas is a special kind of plant that from one point of it, and this is the best to use for the lulav as well, and the best to say the bracha in the Shabbat Kodesh. So it has to be from one point of the hadas, and all the points have to be like that. That they have to, 3 leaves have to come from one point, for it not to be a hadas shoteh, a hadas that's an irregular kind of growing. So this is the best kind of growing. And even if you do not have the hadas, that's all the 3 points is the same, all the 3 leaves coming from this one stem of it, then it's better to have any kind of hadas, because according to the Kabbalah, it's a very big esoteric secret that a person can attain, and this he should have for every Suda of the Shabbat Kodesh. He's gonna say Borei Atzeh B'Samim. Then after that he says quietly to himself, Reach Nihuah Hishe Ladonai. מצווה גדולה להגיע ספר תורה שקוראים בו בשבת בציבור אם אין בו חסרות או יתרות או טעות, ויש הנוהגים לקרוא בו הפרשה שמות והגם הקריאה מקיאים הספר תורה מאשרי חלקה. So there is such a minhag that a person, obviously who is a sofer, whoever knows those halachot, he has to fix the Torah, and meanwhile he's also doing the mitzvah. He's reading twice one pasuk. He reads the pasuk twice, and then he also does the one-time targum, the translation in the language of Aramaic, and which is called targum onklus usually. And then that's how he's learning. So meantime, while he's learning, he is actually investing, and he's making sure that the people have the Torah without any mistakes, without anything missing over there, without anything extra over there. And it's a very nogea, very big nafkamina, a practical difference in the time, which is next month actually, that we're going to be reading Parashat Zachor, because that mitzvah is from the Torah. Ishtadel le'izahir le'achin shnei tavshilim lekol su'uda. A person should be cautious that he should have at least 2 hot meals. Right? We said that it's very important to have hot meals on the Shabbat Kodesh, because we said on Shabbat. Why? Because Baal Ha'itur, could be even other poskim say this, that whoever does not have hot meal on Shabbat, then his neshama was not on Har Sinai. Could be that he's a questionable Jewish person, that maybe he's not a Jew. So it's very important. Huh?
I didn't know that.
Right. So something that we have to know.
What about Ashkenaz?
Ashkenaz, Sfaradim, then Kulam Yehudim.
Ashkenaz
Don't eat hot meals?
Shabbat day.
לא אוכלים ארוחה חמה?
No,
נכון, he's right. A lot of them eat salads and.
Talking about Friday night.
I mean, they eat chamin.
לכל סעודה.
נכון.
השתדל להיזהר להכין שני תבשילים לכל סעודה, it says. It doesn't say ערב שבת or ליל שבת.
מה, חם?
No, I'm talking about שתי תבשילים.
שני תבשילים.
You're not talking about חם.
He does not mention that at the moment.
Maybe later.
But we have on Friday night and we have on the Shabbat, at least in the morning. So a person should try to have two different meals for each Suda of the Shabbat Kodesh. So it's 6 Sudot. Six meals, I mean, I'm sorry, 6 meals. Even if it's rice or vegetables that are cooked, they're also called, that they are by themselves, it's also called a meal. It's a practical difference, the nafkamina for the 3 weeks, for the Tisha B'Av, the Su'udat HaMafseket for the 9th of Av. We hope that it does not happen once again, that we have the Beit HaMikdash, obviously, Me'ezrat Hashem. But over there's a big question. People have plov. Do they put, if they put egg over there the whole year or their whole lifetime, right? Some people do that. They because that plov with the egg is without meat. So, with that said, is it called 2 tafshilim, which on the before Tisha B'Av you're not allowed to have, or is it called 1? So it's all these nafkamina, all the practical things. So anyway, over here, rice by itself or cooked vegetables, they are called each individual meal. But if you want to be more stricter and more on a more valuable and a higher level, then a person should at least do meals from fish, and obviously it goes without saying with chicken or with meat. וכן יעשה לכל 3 תעודות, ואם נוהג בחול לאכול 2, צריך להכין 3 תבשילים כדי שיהיה ניכר כבוד השבת. ביום השישי יימנע מלאכול אותו תבשיל. So obviously, two meals goes for each su'udah. And if a person is eating during the regular day, meaning during the week, he has 2 meals, at least a day. So then on Shabbat, it has to be special. Shabbat has to be ma'al. It has to be above, which means that it has to be not just 2, but another meal, which is 3 meals. It has to be a difference on the Shabbat Kodesh. That the honor of Shabbat would actually appear to the household or to the people that you're going to have.
3 meals or 3 dishes?
3 dishes, I'm sorry. That's right, 3 dishes. Right, we do have 3 meals anyway. And on Friday, whatever of the meals that you do, it's better for you to refrain, meaning for you not to eat that meal, so it would be special for the Shabbat Kodesh. And if a person wants to have dairy, if it's hot, then he's allowed to have dairy, if he wants to. It's not a must. He doesn't need to have. Doesn't have to have. Some people cannot eat meat. Some people refrain from because of the kashrut issues that somebody on a higher level. But anyway, I think that every household usually has chicken or meat, and therefore it's the honor of the Shabbat is different. אין לעשות השולחן ממידותיו וגודלו דוגמת השולחן שבבית המקדש. מה שכתבו כן לשם האריזה, ואין לזה סמך ושאר הכוונות. טוב, he says over here that let's say that the person learned all the halachot of the Beit HaMikdash, or at least how the Mizbeach was and how the Shulchan was, and its measures and its dimensions and the way that it looks, that it used to look in the Beit HaMikdash. So it's he's not allowed to do the same kind of table because you cannot copy the Beit HaMikdash. Right? So a person, he wants to act like as if it's in the Beit HaMikdash, like we said many times about the olive oil and about the Chanukah menorah and all the different things. And for example, there is Birkat Kohanim every day in the Beit HaMikdash. That's one of the main things that we still copy from Beit HaMikdash. That's one of the things that continues the Jewish faith, and it keeps us running in this world. So a person should not copy the Beit HaMikdash's table. And it's a very big thing that a person, if he's able to buy such a table, that its legs or whatever it's standing on, that the foundation of the table would actually not be metal, because it brings it says tum'ah of some sort. So a person should be able to have wooden legs of the table as well, if a person could do that. But it's no problem in the halacha, it's just a kabbalistical matter. Anyway, ישתדל מאוד ששולחן של סעוד השבת יהיה בין 4 רגליים. Okay. לא פחות ולא יותר, ויש בזה סודות נפלאים. Also, if a person could do that the table should not have just 2 or 3 legs, it should actually have 4. And as we said, these are all kabbalistical things that it says over here. טוב מאוד אם יכול לכוון לסדר שולחנו בצד צפון ונרות שבת בדרום. If a person, once again, it's not halacha. This is a better thing to do. Not halacha. You don't need to change right now your whole house due to this.
No. I have a table, has 2 posts, and each post has 3 legs. That's count 6 legs or count
6.
just 1?
It's probably 6.
Like chicken.
Yeah, it's probably 6.
6?
6
Okay.
probably.
I have a line in the middle.
A line in the middle?
1 in the
In the
middle.
middle of your base.
It's fine. It's not a problem. You're just saying that if a person wants to follow all of the opinions, then he should do that. It's not right now.
So there's machloket or what?
No, it's not a
It's
machloket.
a Kabbalah.
It's an opinion. It's a kabbalistical opinion.
Okay.
It's more of a higher degree, higher level.
So must be 4 legs on the chair. On the
According to that opinion, yeah, on the table, not the chair.
I mean table, yeah. So we have to change it.
טוב מאוד אם יכול לכוון לסדר שולחנו מצד צפון ונרות שבת בדרום. It's better if a person is going to set his Shabbat candles in the south direction. So let's say south is which way? That way, right? Let's say this is your shulchan. You're gonna, I don't know, sit there or here. So you put the Shabbat candles here. Those that put the Shabbat candles on the table. It's a very big thing for the Shalom Bayit and
On the table?
yeah, on the table. I know that there's some people that they have 2 tables connected and they put it on the other table, just in case if they did not have the kavanah, that table should not be muktzeh, because then they could put a sefer, they could take it again, and they could, they could basically sit at the table, use that table. But usually people have a lot of food, all the different dips and salads, depends which branch of Judaism you are at, Ashkenazim, Sfaradim. Usually they have salads or they have dips, whatever it is the case, but Baruch Hashem, everyone's table is always full. But the Shabbat candles and the Sfarim, they usually have a small table next to them, or they put it on the second one.
So you cannot move the candle.
A candle for sure you cannot move, no. Yeah. And also the table has to be basically facing the north. So I guess this, we could say the north, right? Like this way. That's north.
Supposed to be like this. From
So
north to
the
south, right?
the table should be in the north, and the candle should be in the south.
Oh, okay.
But also, because of different things that people have kids, they usually don't put it on the table. For the matter of danger and stuff like that, then you wouldn't follow this opinion. You would follow the opinion of Chamira Sakanta Meisura. That the Torah tells us the danger you have to follow first. That there shouldn't be a fire, chas v'shalom. There shouldn't be a strike of any kind of danger now, before you do any halacha even, and the Kabbalah obviously. Some people put 52 candles because they don't have children yet, or some people put whatever 100 and some candles. They want to do the segula, but sometimes in Israel or in other places either the ceiling is so close or it's so like together, all the candles, and it becomes, and they have been, unfortunately, people have experienced, I guess, the sigula in the big form, that the fire stroke out, unfortunately. That's why the Chachamim of our day and time, they do give us a warning. Everything has to be properly, with respect, and with the proper tactics. טוב, ייזהר לכסות שולחן שבת במפה מיוחדת לשבת. A person should have a special cover for the Shabbat table. Some people have ribbons on it, some people do different kind of sewings on it, some people put the silver like silk on it, in the middle, across the whole table. It's very nice. ועוד מפה על גבי הלחם, and you put another cover on top of the bread. Why? Because we have to remember, it's due to the remembrance of the man, that the man was covered from the bottom and covered obviously from the top. So two. לדעת המהריל, יש לכסות השולחן עצמו בשתי מפות מחוץ ללחם. So if you want to follow the opinion of the Maharil, very big posek, especially in the minhagim, in the customs. So he says, aside from the lechem, aside from the bread, that it has to have its own cover, its own kisui, you have to put on the table not just one but two coverings. משום, why? משום שכאשר יסלקו המפה עם שארי האוכל לא יהיה השולחן ערום אפילו שעה אחת. Even 1 minute, the shulchan is not going to be, your table will not be without a cover, because people take Friday night, usually. You could even use a plastic if you want, if you cannot afford other kind of rich and valuable and more nice kind of coverings. So people have two plastics that they put on a Friday afternoon, when they prepare the Shabbat table. And Friday they take it away with all the crumbs and everything, to all the remainders, and they put it in the waste. But the shulchan is not uncovered; it is covered, and that's what we want. The Shabbat, at least, the table should be covered. ועל פי הזוהר הקדוש יש סוד בכיסוי השולחן בשבת משום כבוד השכינה וכן בחול יעשה כן. So according to the Zohar Kadosh, it's a very, very big thing that even on a regular day, obviously Shabbat, that your table, wherever you dine, wherever you eat, that table is always going to be closed, meaning covered. It's always going to be covered with a mapa, with a skatit, or with a plastic, klionka, the plastic. Why? Because we want to respect the Shekhinah, and the Shekhinah is coming to the table. There's very scary things in the Gemara. This is not so scary, but we were reading yesterday in the Kavah Yashar, in chapter 45 or 46. It said over there, and in the Gemara, in different places, it says that many people asked whether it was a person who sews, whether it was a person that has a different job, profession, whatever it is. They asked their people of the household that whenever you see that I'm going to perish from this world, make sure that you take this table, and or wherever they used to sew. He was talking with Kaveh Yashar, was talking about the one who sews. He said, take this table and make from it lo alenu a coffin. Why? Grob. Why? Because back in the day, a lot of people used to have wooden tables. It's not usually the case nowadays, but many still do have wooden tables. And in the Gemara it says that when people didn't have, then they used to use their wooden tables for the coffin. Why? Because any mitzvah you did on the table, you said bracha, you brought some kind of guest, you brought a poor person, you brought a talmid chacham, anything that it might have been, and you said tehillim and the prayers and the brachot, whatever it is that you did the mitzvah. So when they put the chas shalom lo aleinu, the person that passed away, into the coffin from the table actually saves him. Because he made brachot, he made all the different things, all the zechuyot that he...
That wood already has a blessing.
Yeah. And in Kaba Yashar, it said that the guy's business was sewing. This guy only worked with truth and nothing but the truth. So he told his people, he told his household, he said, I'm feeling that I'm getting close to my date of perishing this world. And he said, take my working table and make from that a coffin and put me inside there. And they said, why? Because I never cheated people and I never lied to people in the business, at least, he's saying. And even if a person had extra or he didn't have enough, I always told them, what do you want to do with it? That's what Kaveh Yashar said. Yesterday we were reading. And that's what's going to save the person in the end of the day when the date comes. That's where the life starts, right? So why do we need two kisuyim? You could just have one also. According to Zohar Kadosh, a person should always have, even on the regular day, because the Shekhinah comes and sits with him on the table.
That's daily, right?
Daily, yeah. You don't have to cover it every day, but if you want to follow the opinion of the Zohar Kadosh, which usually Sfaradim do, and so why not follow that as well? Yeah.
So does it have to be like can it be clear, or
The plastic covering of the table. Yeah. Yes.
Another question. So I have the table, working table. It's covered with a finisher. Гроб можно из него делать?
Что можно делать?
Гроб.
Он большой.
Большой, да?
Да.
Has to be everything from that wood or just one piece?
He said something else over there in the Kaveh Yashar that like all of his instruments or like make from the metal that was on that table, make like the handles for the grob Yadai. But that's basically what he was saying. It's a very interesting thing. In the Gemara it says because the shulchan used to be mechaper al ha'adam. It used to make kapara for the person, and is where he eats, or if he's a sower that he works with him. So
that's why it used to be when a person died in the house, we put them on the table.
Yes,
before burying.
that's true. Tovut, they put that
No,
on the
put
table.
on the table
On
and
the
then wash it and everything, and then we got told and take them.
Yeah. There is such a thing.
Mhm.
So, another halakha is, it says a person should be very particular, almost as a stringency, that a person should always put on all the shalosh seudot of Shabbat, all the 3 meals of the Shabbat Kodesh. What does he have to put? He has to put salt on it, right? According to some, they only dip the bread in the salt once or 3 times on Shabbat. Some Ashkenazim do Mayim Achronim only on Shabbat. But according to our opinion, we always have salt, even if it's not Shabbat. Why? והוא מגרש המזיקים וממתק כל הגיבורות והדינים ויטבל הפת בו ג' פעמים. כן, ויגול הפת בו ג' פעמים. Why do you always have? The Torah actually says, Al kol korbancha takriv melach. So any food that we have, if it's especially those that know the Kabbalistical aspect, Kabbalistical information of how to get rid of the unspiritual part of the food, and the only thing that they chew or they eat is holiness, and they do it according to the kavanot of the Arizal, which many of us are far away from it. But even so, a person should have the salt, because when a person eats, it's like he is bringing an offering. If he does those Kabbalistical kavanot, or even if he doesn't, if he's eating because he wants to continue his life, he has to eat something, he has to drink something, he has to sustain himself, he has to continue his life, so he eats. And obviously, if he does not eat anything extra, but he eats exactly to whatever he needs to be alive, which we are also far away from that, so that's counted for him as a korban, as a holy offering, as a holy meal. and therefore it's like the salt. It's like the salt that takes away all the negative aura away from us. But many of us are not like that, right? So we do put salt, even on a regular day, but especially on the Shabbat and all the 3 Sudot, in order to get rid of the negative aura, once again. And therefore, we dip the salt into the bread into the salt 3 times, because the bread is called Rahamim, mercy, aura that the bread has, and the salt has the negativity. So when this and this come together, the negative aura is being cancelled, is being מבוטל, בטל. טוב מאוד להניח אזוב על שולחנו בשבת בסוגלתו להבריח מזיקים מהחיצונים לגורם רפואה ומועיל לתיקון פגם היסוד. Wow, very important information. If anyone is able to get hyssop, I think it's hyssop, right? It's called hyssop. Ezov. It's a special kind of herb, or like similar to grass. I don't know if it has any kind of smell, but this is good to put on the table, especially on the Shabbat table, because the sigula of this herb is to once again make all of the prosecuting angels go away from you. And if a person has sinned throughout the week, doing teshuvah or not doing teshuvah, he also pushes away those angels as well, the shindalatim, the demons. And also this is for refuah shelema, when you have it on your table, even if it's on a regular day. And also Shabbat and regular day, this is for the rectification of the brit, tikkun hayesod. So if a person has any kind of sins that are still left, he did not do teshuvah 100% for that, for the rectification of the pegam hayesod, of the brit. So this is also gonna it's gonna help him, Hashem will help him through this, that he's gonna come to the teshuvah. One more thing, and then we close the shiur with this, Be'ezrat Hashem. ייזהר לקנות ולייחד הלחם, המאכלים, הפירות והתבלינים היותר חשובים ומשובחים לשבת, גם יוסיף מנה ותבשיל לכבוד שבת. So it's very important that a person is always going to have it in mind. That's why we also say לכבוד שבת קודש or לכבוד יום טוב. Then he's going to buy the bread, or his wife is going to make the bread, by the husband. Friday morning after Shaharit is going to go buy the flour. So she right away does the challah, and she does the flour, and she does the bread with that, all for the Shabbat Kodesh. Some people actually back in the day, our ancestors, the great-grandparents, I've heard this many times, that they used to make bread on Friday, and they made it for the whole week, so that bread would have the ta'am and the aura of the Shabbat Kodesh. It's a very nice thing to have. It's not because they only use the tanur once or twice a week, because they had to pay for it. People who didn't have had the line over their traffic. It's not because of that necessarily. It's because they wanted the Shabbat aura, the strength of the Shabbat, the power of the Shabbat to go into the food that they're going to eat throughout the week. So any kind of spices, any fruits, any vegetables, any kind of meals, whether prepared or not, or that you will prepare, it's you're gonna specify it. It's only gonna be dedicated for the Shabbat Kodesh. That's why you say L'chvod Shabbat Kodesh, as we just said. Gam yosif mana v'tavshil L'chvod Shabbat. And also, if you can make something special and make something extra for the Shabbat Kodesh, ma tov u'mana'im. It's gonna be a very important thing. So here we end. Baruch Adonai La'olam. Amen ve'amen. Any questions, Rabotai? Any questions? Why it's not paid for?